So thinking about a career where you're making a difference and maybe intrigued by orthopedics,
Yeah,
becoming an orthopedic supplies specialized seller, they could be it, right?
it could be.
And it's set to grow, like way faster than average, meaning tons of opportunity. We're diving into RoleCatcher's career guide to give you the inside scoop.
Awesome.
Orthopedic Supplies Specialized Seller. What's the deal with this job title?
Well, it's not just about selling products, it's about improving lives.
Okay, so like what, helping someone walk again?
Exactly. Or finding that perfect solution to ease chronic pain. That's the power you have in this role.
That's really cool. So you're not just like pushing products, you're more of like a problem solver.
You got it.
RoleCatcher mentions you need to be an expert, not just on the products, but also on the medical conditions people are dealing with.
Absolutely. And it's fascinating how much this field has changed, even just in the past few years. Take robotic prosthetics, for example.
Well, hold on. Robotic prosthetics, you need to be an engineer for that.
You don't need an engineering degree, but a basic understanding of the tech is definitely helpful.
Okay, so like how does that even work?
Think 3D scanning for custom orthotics. You'd explain the benefits, how these prosthetics offer more natural movement.
So you're bridging the gap between the technology and like the human need.
Precisely. It's not just knowing the product, it's knowing the human side of things, too.
The empathy aspect.
Yeah.
That makes sense, especially when you're working with people going through a tough time. RoleCatcher mentions working in all sorts of places, from specialized shops to hospitals. What's the typical environment?
Specialized orthopedic shops and medical supply stores are common, but hospitals and clinics are becoming more popular. You might even provide product info during patient consultations.
Wow, so you're part of the healthcare team then.
That's right.
What stands out to you about the day-to-day in this kind of role?
The dynamism. Every day brings these unique challenges and rewards. One day you're helping an athlete find the right brace, the next you're assisting someone elderly with a mobility aid.
And RoleCatcher mentioned 3D printing is changing the game.
It's revolutionizing how we create custom orthotics. Imagine scanning a customer's foot and creating a perfectly fitted support right there.
Wow, that's incredible. So you need to be tech savvy and have those people skills.
You got it.
Now let's talk career path. RoleCatcher projects 6% growth over the next 10 years.
Impressive, right?
Yeah. What's driving that demand?
It's a few things. The aging population is a big one. As people age, they need more orthopedic support. Plus, rising sports injuries and chronic conditions.
Right. It all means a greater need for specialized sellers. But let's be real. Every job has pros and cons. What are we looking at here?
Okay, so the good stuff. Flexible hours, often.
Nice.
Earning potential is good, especially as you gain experience, maybe specialize.
And you're making a difference in people's lives, can't forget that.
Exactly. Now, on the flip side, competition can be fierce. You need to hustle. It can be physically demanding, too.
And then there's dealing with insurance companies. That's a whole
A whole other thing. Understanding insurance coverage for orthopedic supplies is essential, can be complex.
So you're navigating the healthcare system too. Sounds challenging but rewarding.
It's about finding the right fit.
RoleCatcher mentions specializing, like prosthetics, sports medicine.
Specialization can be huge, higher earning potential, and you become the expert in that niche.
You're the go-to person. I like that.
Think about it, jack of all trades versus master craftsman.
Okay, so for someone listening who's thinking, this sounds amazing, but where do I even start?
Start with your strengths, your interests. What are you naturally drawn to? Then explore different niches, look into employers, maybe reach out to people already in the field.
Networking. Love it.
Yeah.
Even a quick LinkedIn message, right?
Exactly.
Yeah.
You'd be surprised how many people are willing to share their experience.
So essential skills for an orthopedic supplies specialized seller. It's more than just medical knowledge, yeah.
Way more. While understanding the products is key, the core skills are about communication, human connection.
Okay, break it down for us.
You're selling a solution to a problem, and it's often a very personal one. Active listening is crucial.
Make them feel heard.
Yes, and then you need to explain those complex medical concepts clearly and simply. No jargon.
So you're like a translator.
Exactly. And of course, strong sales skills are a must. Presenting products effectively, handling objections, that's where the magic happens.
Not pushy, right? More like a trusted advisor.
Absolutely. Customers can spot insincerity a mile away. This is about authenticity, empathy, a genuine desire to help.
So communication, sales, empathy, it's a lot.
It is, but many of these skills, you can learn and develop them over time.
That's good to know.
And that's where resources like RoleCatcher come in.
Right. They have that database of interview questions.
Super helpful. For example, how do you stay up to date on the latest products and advances? Having a good answer shows you're committed to learning.
It's like a cheat sheet for your career. Speaking of which, what's the typical career ladder look like here?
It varies, but RoleCatcher outlines a pretty clear progression. Entry level to more responsibility and expertise.
So say you're fresh out of school, eager to get into orthopedic supplies.
Huh.
Where do you begin?
Entry level positions. Sales associate, customer service rep.
Get that hands-on experience.
Yes, you'll assist senior colleagues, learn the ropes.
Like a crash course.
From there, you can specialize, maybe become an orthopedic fitter or a product specialist.
You're becoming the expert in a specific thing.
And with experience in education, you can even move into management, overseeing teams, developing strategies.
Wow, real growth potential.
And it's not just about climbing the ladder. Many find deep satisfaction in becoming that go-to expert for customers.
It's about the impact.
Exactly.
RoleCatcher emphasizes continuous learning in this field.
It's essential. New technologies, products, treatments, it's always evolving.
How do you even keep up?
Industry conferences are great. Networking, seeing the newest stuff.
Sounds fun.
Reading industry publications, journals, even following thought leaders on social media.
Staying in the loop.
Yes. Online courses, webinars, there are so many ways to learn.
It's about being proactive, not just doing the bare minimum.
Exactly.
So for someone serious about this path, what's a good first step?
Research. Look at different employers, from small shops to big hospital systems.
Okay.
Check out local colleges, see if they offer programs or certifications in orthopedic technology or medical sales.
Credentials are good.
Definitely. Don't underestimate networking either. Go to events, connect with people on LinkedIn.
It's amazing how a simple conversation can open doors.
Absolutely.
Now let's get real about skills. RoleCatcher lists a bunch, but it's not just about memorizing product details, right?
Nope. You've got to know the products, sure, but you're also dealing with people's health, their well-being. That requires a whole other skill set.
So it's a balance, being knowledgeable, but also compassionate.
You got it. And being able to communicate that knowledge effectively in a way that makes people feel heard and understood.
Makes sense. So for someone listening who might be thinking, this sounds great, but I'm not sure I have the right personality for sales, what would you say?
I'd say don't count yourself out just yet. This isn't your stereotypical high-pressure sales environment. It's about building relationships, providing guidance, and being a resource for people who often need a helping hand.
So if you're passionate about making a difference, if you enjoy problem solving and connecting with people, then this could be a great fit, even without a traditional sales background.
Absolutely. It's about passion, empathy, and that willingness to learn and grow.
Those are qualities you can't teach, but they can take you far in this field.
For sure.
Now, let's talk about something that often comes up when we're discussing healthcare careers: ethics. What are some of the ethical considerations someone might encounter as an orthopedic supplies specialized seller?
That's a great question, and it's something that's super important to consider. You're dealing with products that can significantly impact people's lives, their mobility, their well-being. So you always want to make sure you're acting ethically and in the best interests of your clients.
So it's not just about making the sale. It's about doing what's right for the customer, even if it means recommending a competitor's product or advising them to hold off on a purchase.
Exactly. It's about building trust and credibility, and that's something that's earned through ethical behavior and genuine care for your clients.
So for someone who's maybe a little hesitant about the sales aspect of this career, it might be helpful to think of themselves more as a consultant, an advisor who's there to guide their clients towards the best possible solutions.
I love that, because that's really what it's all about.
Now, before we move on to part 2 of our deep dive, I want to leave our listeners with a little homework. RoleCatcher provides a ton of great info on different companies in this space, so take some time to check out their website and explore some potential employers. See who's out there, what they're doing, what their company culture is like.
That's a great idea.
And while you're at it, think about your own personal values and how they align with the companies you're researching. Do they prioritize ethics? Do they have a strong commitment to customer care? Finding that alignment can make all the difference in terms of job satisfaction and career longevity.
Absolutely.
So do your research, think about your values, and get ready to dive deeper into the exciting world of orthopedic supplies, specialized selling in part 2 of our deep dive. You know, it's funny, people might think this field is all like metal and plastic, but it's really about something much bigger.
It's true. It's about restoring hope. helping people regain their independence, to really live.
And that takes a special kind of person, someone who gets the tech stuff, but also has that human touch. RoleCatcher really emphasizes empathy, active listening.
Oh, absolutely. You can't just know the products. You have to connect with people, understand their fears, their frustrations, and then guide them to a solution that really fits them.
I bet that takes patience, working with people who might be in pain, frustrated.
100%. Patience is key. You'll have customers who are angry, scared, unsure. You create that safe space for them to open up.
It makes me think about those tough customer interactions.
Yeah.
RoleCatcher doesn't really get into that. Any tips for handling those gracefully?
It's going to happen in this line of work. Stay calm, listen, and try to figure out what's at the root of it. Product issue, insurance problem. Once you know, you can address it.
Like a detective almost.
Right. And sometimes, honestly, it's just acknowledging their feelings. Empathy goes a long way.
Remembering it's a real person going through it.
Exactly.
RoleCatcher talks about specialization, finding your niche. But how do you even figure out what to specialize in?
It's a journey. What are you passionate about within orthopedics? Prosthetics, helping athletes recover. Pay attention to those sparks of interest.
I like that. So not just picking from a list, it's finding where you fit in.
Exactly. And it takes time. Explore different areas, talk to colleagues, go to conferences focused on different things.
So you can evolve as you go. You don't have to have it all figured out right away.
Exactly. It's about becoming indispensable in something you love.
And that passion, it rubs off on your customers. They can tell when you're genuinely invested.
100%.
So breaking into the industry, RoleCatcher suggests internships, part-time gigs. What's your advice for someone starting out, maybe without a ton of experience?
Don't be afraid to start at the bottom. Even a part-time sales job, it gives you those everyday insights and you start building your network.
Showing you're eager to learn.
Yes. And while you're getting that experience, network. Go to events, use LinkedIn, reach out to people for informational interviews.
Those are so valuable. Even a short call can give you so much clarity.
People love to share their experience.
Okay, let's talk about rejection. Not every sale works out. Not every interview leads to a job. How do you deal with that?
Rejection is part of it, honestly. You learn to handle it. Remember, it's usually not personal. Maybe the customer wanted something else or the company needed a different experience.
Don't take it to heart.
Right. Step back. Look at it objectively. What could you do differently next time?
Dust yourself off and get back out there.
Resilience. That's key.
RoleCatcher mentions the ethics involved in this field. What are some of the ethical dilemmas you might face?
It's a big deal because you're dealing with people's health. A big one is balancing what's best for the customer versus the company's sales goals.
Right. You don't want to be pushy just to make a sale.
Exactly. You never want to pressure someone into a product they don't need, even if it means losing a sale.
So, being honest, even recommending a competitor's product if it's a better fit.
That builds trust. It might cost a sale now, but in the long run, that's what matters.
It's about being a consultant, not just a salesperson.
Exactly.
What are some of the tools you need in this job? Like beyond the basics.
Your product catalog is your Bible. You need to know those products like the back of your hand. Features, benefits, downsides.
But just winging it?
No way. Got to answer questions, compare products, all on the spot.
Okay, so a product whiz. What else?
A good tape measure. Especially for fitting braces or orthotics, you need those accurate measurements.
Makes sense. It's about the details.
Yes. And of course, tech skills are important. Computers, software.
Healthcare is becoming more and more digital.
Totally. Sales, customer records, inventory. You'll need those computer skills.
Got to keep up with the times.
For sure.
Let's talk earning potential. RoleCatcher mentions it being good, but give us the real deal.
It's like any field. Lots of factors. Experience, location, company size, what you specialize in.
So someone with tons of experience in a big city might make more than someone starting out in a small town.
Makes sense, right? And if you're the expert in a niche area, you'll probably earn more.
You're in demand.
Exactly. And there are bonuses, commissions.
So potential to do really well.
Absolutely.
We've talked about the challenges, but what about the emotional toll? Dealing with people's struggles can be tough. How do you deal with that, avoid burnout?
Such a good point. It's easy to forget about self-care. But in a job like this, it's essential.
So what works?
Boundaries. Don't work 24/7. Make time for things you enjoy, whether it's hobbies or just relaxing. And don't hesitate to get support if you need it.
Like a therapist or counselor.
Exactly. Or even just talking to colleagues who get it.
Having that support system makes a huge difference.
It really does.
Okay, let's get practical. What about dress code? What's the vibe?
It depends on the workplace, but generally aim for professional.
Business casual.
Exactly. Slacks, button-downs, sweaters.
Looking sharp.
Right. First impressions matter.
What about jewelry or perfume?
Keep it minimal and tasteful, no distractions, and be mindful of scents. Some customers might be sensitive.
Good point.
And if you're in a clinic, there might be extra rules, like name tags.
Always best to ask. Now, what about remote work? Is that common in this field?
It's growing, but not as common as in some other industries. Some areas have more opportunities than others.
So you might need to dig a little to find it.
Right, and be upfront about it in your job search.
Maybe target companies that specialize in online sales or telehealth. Now, RoleCatcher doesn't mention this, but what about mentors? Or joining professional organizations?
So valuable. A mentor can give you guidance, connect you with people.
They've been there.
Exactly. And organizations help you stay updated on what's new in the field.
It's all about learning and growing.
Exactly.
What about shadowing someone or interviewing someone already doing the job?
That's a fantastic idea. There's nothing like seeing it firsthand.
How do you even find someone to shadow?
Start with your network. Anyone you know in healthcare. LinkedIn is great too, or those professional groups.
Reach out.
Most people are happy to chat if you're genuine.
What kind of questions do you ask in an informational interview?
Ask about their day-to-day, what's challenging, what's rewarding, what skills do they use, how they get to where they are.
And don't forget about the company culture. Speaking of which, the interview process. RoleCatcher has tons of sample questions, but any general tips for knocking it out of the park?
Preparation is key. Research the company, the position, even the people interviewing you.
A little internet stalking never hurt.
Right. LinkedIn, company websites, social media. You can learn so much about their culture, the team, everything.
So go beyond just reading the job ad.
Definitely. Be ready with thoughtful answers and insightful questions of your own.
Speaking of, always have some questions ready to go.
Absolutely. Shows you're engaged.
What about those curveball questions they throw at you?
Hey, calm, breathe. It's okay to ask for a minute to think.
That's a great question. Let me ponder that.
Exactly.
References. So important. What's the best approach?
Choose people who know your work well. Former bosses, colleagues.
And ask them first. So final thoughts for those wanting to pursue this career path.
If you love helping people, have a knack for sales, and find this field interesting, go for it.
There's a place for you.
But it does take work. Use those resources, network, get experience.
Show your passion.
Now, here's something to think about. How do you see technology changing this field? And what will that mean for the role of a specialized seller?
We've got 3D printing, robotics, telehealth. It's changing fast. How do you see it playing out?
It's amazing to think about. We're talking about a future where, you walk in, get a 3D scan, and bam, custom orthotic.
Yeah, no more digging through those bins of pre-made sizes. But does that mean, like, less need for a human expert? Will the job become more, I don't know, tech support?
Not even close. Think about it. People still want guidance, especially with health stuff.
Right, it can be confusing.
Exactly. Imagine trying to figure out insurance for a high-tech prosthetic. You'd want someone who gets it right, both the tech and the system.
It's that human element again.
Yeah.
We like our gadgets, but knowing someone's got your back,
Yeah.
you can't beat that.
Exactly. The tech is important, but the human connection and the empathy, that's what makes the difference.
So as technology gets more advanced, we actually need more skilled communicators in this field.
Absolutely. Plus, even with virtual stuff becoming more common, we still need people who can physically fit patients, Show them how to use things. That face-to-face interaction is still so important.
It's about balance, using tech to make things better, but not forgetting about the human side.
Exactly. And that's what makes this career path so cool. It's tech and people skills. You're using your knowledge to really make a difference.
You're not just selling a product. You're helping someone regain their mobility, their independence. That's huge.
It is. And it's a journey. You're always learning new things, new technologies.
Always growing. So for someone listening who's feeling pumped about this, what's one thing they can do today to get started?
Start exploring. Go online, look at company websites, maybe even send a message to someone working in the field.
Love it. And remember, whether you're just starting out or looking for a change, this field is full of opportunities.
It is. It's all about helping people live their best lives.
Couldn't have said it better myself. That wraps up our deep dive into the world of orthopedic supplies specialized selling.
Thanks for listening. We hope you learned something new and feel inspired to explore this growing field.
And who knows, maybe you'll be fitting those futuristic 3D printed orthotics before we know it. Until next time.